Let me ask you a question. How much of your time, your energy, your mental peace have you wasted thinking about them, what they think about you, what they said behind your back, what they're doing now, while you're stuck overthinking your every move? Now answer this, where has that gotten you? It's 2025, and if you don't choose to focus on yourself now, you're going to wake up 5 years from today, wondering why you still feel stuck, lost, and drained. This year, make it about you. There's a reason the airplane safety rule is to put your own oxygen mask on first, because you're no help to anyone when you're running on empty. And yet, for most of your life, you've been living in reverse, pouring into people who wouldn't even hand you a cup of water when you're thirsty. 2025 is the year you stop. Stop overextending, stop explaining, stop proving yourself, and start pouring into you. Let them talk, let them leave, let them misunderstand you, because the truth is, if you want to evolve, if you want to grow, if you want to finally see results, you can't carry dead weight anymore. You've done that for too long, and it has cost you. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's survival, it's peace, it's healing. It's not cutting people off. It's aligning your energy with what you deserve. Because not everyone deserves access to you. This year, fall in love with your solitude, reconnect with your purpose, take yourself seriously, even if no one else does. Wake up early, train your mind. Start that business, write that book, build that body, protect that peace. You don't owe anyone an explanation for putting yourself first. You've given enough. Now it's your time. You see, we live in a world where distractions are dressed as opportunities. Drama disguised as connection. Validation masquerading as love. It's time you see through it all. When you begin focusing on yourself, you'll start to feel uncomfortable because growth is uncomfortable. You'll want to look back, you'll want to explain yourself, you'll crave being understood, but understand this, those who are meant for you won't need convincing, and those who aren't won't matter. You cannot become who you're meant to be while staying addicted to who you used to be. You owe it to yourself, not your friends, not your followers, not your family, to become the version of you that you dream about in silence. You owe it to the younger you who was made to feel small. You owe it to the future you who's counting on you not to settle. So, I'll ask you again, where has focusing on them gotten you? Make a new choice in 2025. The most radical, powerful, transformative thing you can do this year is focus only on yourself and watch how everything starts to shift. So as you walk into the rest of 2025, remember this: your power lies in your focus. Not on them, not on what they think, not on what they're doing, but on you. You are the project. You are the priority. You are the investment that will give the highest return. There will be days you feel lonely, days you question your path, days you wonder if it's worth it, but stay the course, because the version of you that's waiting on the other side of this discipline, this isolation, this radical focus, will thank you. You're not behind, you're not lost, you're not broken, you're simply being redirected back to yourself. This year, protect your peace, build your life, guard your energy, and focus only on yourself. The rest will fall into place. The first step to focusing on yourself in 2025 is recognizing how much of your identity has been shaped by the expectations of others. You've spent years bending to fit into boxes that were never meant for you, boxes shaped by family pressure, societal standards, and toxic relationships that drained your essence. You were told what success should look like, who you should become, and how you should act. Somewhere along the way, you stopped asking yourself the most important question: what do I truly want? That silence you've been carrying inside isn't confusion. It's your inner self waiting to be heard again. In this new season, you need to pause and look at who you are when no one is watching, when no one is demanding anything from you, when you're not trying to please or prove. Who are you then? That's where your truth lies. You've been running on autopilot, living for the next approval, the next like, the next compliment, the next distraction, hoping it would give your life meaning. But the truth is, fulfillment doesn't come from external validation. It comes from alignment. It comes from living in tune with your own values, even if they're different from the crowd's. This year, dare to disappoint others in order to stay true to yourself. If it means saying no more often, do it. If it means setting boundaries that shake people up, do it. If it means walking alone for a while, do it. You can't keep betraying yourself for the sake of being accepted. It's time to unlearn the habit of people pleasing. Because the more you try to be everything to everyone, the more you lose sight of your own reflection. You can't heal, grow, or rise if you're constantly available to noise. You have to unplug to reconnect with what matters. That may mean less scrolling and more journaling, less reacting and more reflecting, less comparing and more creating. There's a version of you that's not drained, not anxious, not constantly seeking permission to live. That version of you is unlocked the moment you start prioritizing your own needs over everyone else's expectations. That's not selfish. It's sacred. And yes, it's going to ruffle feathers. Some people liked you better when you didn't love yourself, when you played small, when you made yourself easier to digest. But your healing is not up for debate. Your peace is not a group discussion. You don't need applause to make a change. You just need a decision. You need to finally say, I've had enough of living for everyone but myself. That's where the shift happens. That's when you realize you are not here to perform. You are here to become. You are here to create. You are here to rise. And that begins with silence, with stillness, with separating from the chaos and choosing to go inward. Because the clarity you seek is not in the noisettes in your own voice. And until you learn to listen to it again, you'll keep repeating cycles that leave you feeling empty. In 2025, one of the most powerful decisions you can make is to protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Every day, you are engaging with people, platforms, and patterns that either drain you or elevate you. And far too often, you are left exhausted not because of what you're doing, but because of who you're doing it around. You give your time to conversations that go nowhere, friendships that don't grow, environments that don't nourish your spirit. You entertain people who pretend to care but secretly compete. You keep showing up in places you've outgrown simply because they're familiar. But familiarity is not the same as peace. It's not the same as alignment, and the longer you stay in those loops, the harder it becomes to recognize yourself. Protecting your energy means being intentional about who you allow access to your space. Not everyone deserves front row seats to your life. Some people only come around to see if you're still stuck, still insecure, still doubting yourself. Your glow intimidates them. Your growth reminds them of what they're not doing. And that's not your problem to fix. You need to stop trying to shrink yourself just to make other people feel comfortable. You were not created to fit in. You were created to evolve, and evolution requires protection. Protection from gossip, protection from fake support, protection from those who clap for you publicly but criticize you privately. You need to stop romanticizing loyalty to dysfunction. Just because you've known someone for years doesn't mean they deserve access to who you're becoming. If their presence disrupts your peace, their absence won't harm your growth. In fact, most of your growth will come from silence, from detachment, from realizing that not every connection is meant to go with you into your next season. You don't have to make announcements or hold grudges, just move differently, speak less, watch more, let your actions create the distance. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of your own habits. What content are you consuming? Who are you comparing yourself to? Are you constantly scrolling through lives that make you feel inadequate? Are you starting your mornings with anxiety instead of intention? Your energy is your currency. You can't keep spending it on distractions and expecting wealth in return. Start treating your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Wake up each day and ask yourself, does this add to me or subtract from me? That one question will guide you better than any advice from outside sources. If it drains you, it doesn't belong in your life. If it excites you, inspires you, challenges you to grow, it's worth your time. Energy is not just a vibe, it's the foundation of your results. You cannot manifest greatness while surrounded by chaos. You cannot elevate while entertaining mediocrity. Choose stillness over noise. Choose growth over gossip. Choose solitude over fake company. Your peace is not negotiable. One of the most transformative things you can do for yourself in 2025 is to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Too often, you waste your breath trying to justify your choices, your boundaries, your dreams, just to people who have already made up their minds about you. And the truth is, no matter how much you explain, no matter how carefully you word it, they'll only hear what suits their narrative. That's not your fault. That's not your burden to carry. Your growth, your healing, your evolution is not a group project. It's personal, and it's time you start treating it like the sacred, private journey that it is. When you start changing, when you begin to set standards, when you stop entertaining what no longer serves you, people will notice, and some of them won't like it, because the version of you that they could manipulate, guilt, trip, or take for granted is fading. And people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always see your self-respect as an act of aggression, but their discomfort is not your responsibility. You don't need to soften your truth so others can stay comfortable in their illusion. You don't have to keep watering dead plants in hopes that they'll bloom again. Let them go. Let them think what they want. Let them say what they will, because while they're talking about you, you're doing the work. While they're gossiping, you're growing. While they're stuck in the past, you're building a future, and that speaks louder than any explanation ever could. Stop pausing your progress to clarify your intentions to people who have no intention of understanding you. That energy is better spent pouring into yourself. You don't owe anyone an inside look at your healing process. You don't need a committee's approval to chase your vision. The ones who truly love and respect you won't require constant clarification. They'll see your heart, your effort, your growth, and they'll support it without making you feel guilty. The rest, background noise. Don't let fear of judgment keep you playing small. You are not here to be universally liked. You are here to live in your truth, and sometimes that truth will make others uncomfortable. Let it. It's not your job to shrink just so someone else can feel tall. This year, be intentional with your words. But more importantly, be intentional with your silence. Let your elevation speak for itself. Let your consistency speak for itself. Let your transformation speak for itself. And remember, peace doesn't come from being understood by others. It comes from understanding yourself. When you're grounded in your purpose, you don't flinch at misunderstanding. You rise above it. You detach from the need to be seen a certain way because you finally see yourself clearly. And that is more powerful than anything they could ever say. In 2025, you must understand that healing is not passive, it's intentional. You don't wake up one day suddenly free from your trauma, your habits, your wounds. Healing takes effort, focus, and discipline. And most importantly, it takes choosing yourself every single day, even on the days you don't feel like it. Most people say they want peace, but they're still clinging to chaos because it's familiar. They're still holding on to pain because they've built an identity around it. But the truth is, if you want to move forward, you must be willing to let go of the versions of yourself that were built in survival. The version of you that kept quiet to avoid conflict, the version of you that accepted less just to feel wanted, the version of you that played small to avoid judgment, that version of you was doing their best, but you don't live there anymore. In this new season, you have to stop reopening the same wounds expecting them to hurt less. You have to stop romanticizing your suffering and calling it loyalty. Healing means choosing peace even when chaos is calling your name. It means not texting back when you know it leads nowhere. It means staying in on a Friday night to journal your feelings instead of numbing them with distractions. It means facing your patterns and taking responsibility, not blame, but ownership. Because healing isn't about blaming your past, it's about creating your future, and that requires strength. The strength to walk away from what's breaking you, the strength to stop performing and start feeling, the strength to cry when you need to cry and rest when you need to rest. It's not glamorous. It's not always empowering. Sometimes it's messy and lonely, but it's real, and that's what makes it powerful. When you focus on yourself in 2025, you're not just chasing success. You're choosing wholeness. You're making peace with your past so it stops controlling your present. You're learning to respond instead of react. You're learning to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. You're no longer blaming others for the pain they caused. You're choosing to release them, not for their sake, but for yours, because the more you hold on, the more you poison your own progress. Healing is giving yourself permission to start over, not because you failed, but because you're finally ready to begin again with awareness, with clarity, with intention. And yes, some people will say you've changed. Let them. That's the whole point. You didn't go through everything you've been through just to stay the same. Growth isn't meant to be palatable to others. It's meant to be powerful for you. So allow yourself to feel, to grieve, to forgive, and to release. You're not behind. You're just healing, and healing has no timeline. What matters is that you're doing the work, day by day, moment by moment, choosing yourself not in theory, but in action. One of the most underrated forms of self-love in 2025 is discipline. Not the kind that feels like punishment, but the kind that creates structure, momentum, and purpose. You see, motivation fades, inspiration comes and goes, but discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement wears off. When you decide to focus only on yourself, you have to become your own coach, your own cheerleader, your own accountability partner. No one is coming to push you out of bed. No one is going to chase your dreams for you. You have to do it. You have to wake up when you said you would. You have to follow through even when no one is watching. You have to keep promises to yourself like your future depends on it, because it does. Most people think discipline is restrictive, but what they don't realize is that lack of discipline is what keeps them stuck. Undisciplined mornings lead to chaotic days. Undisciplined minds lead to emotional decisions. Undisciplined habits lead to broken results. If you want to build anything lasting in your life, whether it's health, wealth, purpose, or peace, you need discipline, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Show up every day, even if it's only 1%. Create systems that support who you're becoming. Structure your life around your goals, not your feelings. There will be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or even defeated. But discipline teaches you to move anyway, to get it done not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. That's how confidence is built, not by waiting to feel ready, but by doing the hard things again and again until they become your standard. You need to train your mind to work for you, not against you. That means monitoring your self-talk. That means not giving into excuses. That means setting your own bar and refusing to lower it, even when no one else is looking. You have to become the kind of person who does what they say, because when you stop breaking promises to yourself, something inside you shifts. You start trusting yourself again. You start believing that you are capable. And that belief is what fuels everything else. Discipline is also an act of respect. When you structure your time, you're saying your goals matter. When you guard your habits, you're saying your growth matters. When you stay consistent, you're saying you matter, and that message sinks deep into your subconscious. It teaches you to stop tolerating things that waste your time. It sharpens your focus. It removes the fluff from your life. You stop chasing attention and start chasing alignment. You stop craving approval and start building momentum. In a world full of distractions, laziness, and shortcuts, discipline is your superpower. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's what takes a goal from idea to reality. It's not easy, and that's the point, because nothing meaningful comes without effort. In 2025, one of the most life-changing shifts you can make is to stop waiting for the perfect time and start acting now. You've told yourself too many times, I'll start next week. I'll try when things calm down. I'll go for it when I feel more ready. But let's be honest, how many opportunities have passed you by because you kept postponing your power? The truth is, there is no ideal moment, no magical sign, no flawless setup where everything falls into place. There is only now and what you choose to do with it. Waiting is a trap dressed up as logic. It feels safe because it delays failure, but it also delays growth, momentum, success, and transformation. You think you're buying time, but you're really just wasting it. Every day you hesitate is a day further from your breakthrough. If you want to focus on yourself this year, you need to stop living in the illusion of someday and start stepping into your power, messy and uncertain as it may be. Action breeds clarity. Movement creates energy. When you take one step, the next one becomes more visible. But if you stand still, overthinking, overplanning, doubting yourself into paralysis, you stay stuck. You keep talking about your goals like they're dreams, not decisions. You have to start now with what you have from where you are. Because if you keep waiting for more time, more money, more confidence, more support, you'll wait forever. Start with the shaky voice. Start with the tiny budget. Start with the messy plan. Start when you're scared. That's how growth begins. That's how transformation starts. Not with perfection, but with courage. And yes, you'll make mistakes. You'll fall short. You'll have days when nothing seems to work. But at least you'll be moving. At least you'll be learning. At least you'll be growing. The only way to fail is to never begin. Stop convincing yourself that procrastination is preparation. Stop using uncertainty as an excuse to stay stagnant. You're not lost. You're just hesitating, and deep down, you already know what you need to do. You've known for a while. That vision that keeps nudging you. That idea that won't go away. That quiet whisper in your heart telling you to rise. Listen to it, honor it, act on it. Life doesn't wait. Time doesn't pause until you feel ready. If anything, time rewards those who move. This year is not going to be different just because the calendar changed. It will only be different if you change, if you finally stop talking about it and be about it. No more holding back. No more excuses disguised as planning. No more waiting for permission to start becoming who you were always meant to be. You don't need more time. You need more action. You don't need perfect conditions. You need bold decisions and everything you want. Everything you dream about, it's on the other side of now.